Because it is. I mean, PETA and all these other companies come in and they worry about all this stuff. But at the end of the day, being a cowboy is all about heart and passion. And so when those cowboys strap into that animal and they get on an animal's back, or they're steel wrestling or roping, like, it's important to them and they care about the well-being of that animal. You know, every time they compete, it's important.
I'm Adam, and this is the Slide of Gunshot podcast. Today we have on Brandon and Shelly from the Ski Hi Stampede. Welcome on.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Yeah, so we have you guys on. You guys got your rodeo coming up here pretty soon. Give me the lowdown. Ski Hi Stampede.
Yeah, so Ski Hi Stampede is the oldest pro rodeo in Colorado, and we've been running since 1919, and we've only taken 3 years off, and it's 100% ran volunteer committee members, so farmers, ranchers, bankers, warehouse managers, you name it. It takes a full committee of anywhere from 15 to 18 people to run our rodeo. And we only took 3 years off, which 3 years off were 2 during World War II and 1 year.
Okay.
And so we're pretty proud of our event. We're the highest elevation PRCA sanctioned rodeo in the nation.
Nice.
At 7,600 feet. And what else, Shelly? You got some pointers to make out?
What did you roll there?
I'm a little bit of I do all of it between contracts, ticketing, marketing, a little bit of everything. So
Nice.
That's where we end up.
Cool. And
Actually, Shelly is the secretary of the Stampede, but she's our most prized possession of volunteers because she makes everything happen. Shelly with our problems, with our goals, and she makes them happen.
Nice.
So Shelly's great for our event, and I'm currently the president.
Okay.
I'm serving a 5-year term. This
Okay.
is my second term of the 5. And yeah, we're super excited about our event. We feel like it's some community. We, really prize ourselves that we do a concert, 3 rodeo performances, and a country western dance every night to
Nice.
follow. So you can come out, and we do a carnival. So the
Okay.
carnival's a big deal as well, right? Like everybody comes to the carnival. And we
Of
got
course
funnel
we do.
cakes, yeah.
One thing we really, the board aims for is to make this event affordable for our community
Yeah.
and surrounding areas to where we deliver a huge type event
Yeah.
with small city prices is our
Nice.
goal.
Okay.
Yep.
So, just so everybody knows, this is in Monte Vista,
Right.
Yep.
right? Where in Monte Vista is it? Not that Monte Vista's too
Go ahead.
huge, but
We're not huge, but we're right on Sherman Avenue in the heart of the city. We just built a brand new event center back in
2021.
2021. That was our first year there. And so it's a beautiful event center that was provided by our community and surrounding businesses that a lot of input into this project. And so we hold the nightly dances there with the Justin Kemp Band will be there this year. And so that'll be our after party. It turned into a beautiful facility for everyone to enjoy after the rodeo.
imagine the city's pretty proud of it. I imagine it pulls in a lot of people.
Yeah, we get a lot of traffic, so we kind of figure that about 3,500 people per performance. We're looking at about 4,000 people for the one night of the concert.
Okay.
And then the country western dances kind of come and go as you please, Out of the rodeo, when it finishes, we're pretty prompt. We like to run a tight rodeo performance, trying not to push more than 2 hours. And so that's all the events, everything, specialty act, entertainment, everything. And then we turn around and funnel right into the Justin Kemp Band and the Monte Vista Co-op Kubota after party.
Since some of our listeners out there probably have no idea what PRCA is, can you lead a little into that? Just like, what's PRCA?
So the PRCA is a Pro Rodeo Cowboys Association. So that is I guess it makes our event sanctioned them.
Okay.
And so all of our cowboys that are pro rodeos, they fill a permit. And then that creates them, I guess, membership within that association, and they can compete within those rodeos within. So
Okay.
their circuit is the rodeos that are in their area,
Okay.
I guess you would say.
Nice.
Then through all that, all of their earnings through the year create a total. And so then the grand total runs to the NFR, which is the National Finals. And so then based on your total earnings, then they rank the top 15 from top to bottom, and that's how you qualify for finals.
Uh-huh.
And so that's when you get to Las Vegas for the finals. But we are actually a sanctioned event that the points go towards, the points and the cash go towards their final, taking it to the NFR in Vegas at the end of the year.
And we're also co-sanctioned between the Turquoise and the Mountain State Circuit. And so we have a Mountain State Circuit finals, which that cash also counts towards their earnings.
Nice.
So
is that, you guys imagine with the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame down in Colorado Springs a little
Yes.
bit, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Through being PRCA, we are sanctioned with those guys. So if we had one of the best rides ever, or the fastest tie downs, or the fastest steer wrestling, it would qualify them to go in Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame there in Colorado Springs.
Now this might be a, borderline topic, but what do you think one of the most misunderstood things is about rodeo and that type of stuff?
That's a good question for Shelly, because she's more so, they run a livestock warehouse, and so she's more in the industry. I'm a potato farmer. So it's a better question for Shelly.
I would say the misunderstanding of like animal abuse, maybe,
Okay.
if we want to go that route. The rough stock animals definitely bred to buck.
Yeah.
They love it.
Yeah.
It does not matter if there's a flank strap on them
Uh-huh.
or not.
Yeah.
Those animals know their job. Also, they hear that buzzer at 8 seconds, and then they stop.
Yep.
They like go to the out gate. It's done. They know their job. They love it.
Yeah.
And so that's a point that I would like to touch on, that is misunderstood in this industry. Those animals love it.
Yeah, they're like athletes, right?
They're like athletes. We treat them like athletes. We feed them like, we fuel them that way. And so it's very important to consider that.
Yeah.
Great question.
Yeah.
That's great. Because it is. I mean, PETA and all these other companies come in and they worry about all this stuff. But at the end of the day, being a cowboy is all about heart and passion. And so when that animal and they get on an animal's back, or they're still wrestling or roping, like, it's important to them, and they care about the well-being of that animal as well.
Absolutely.
Every time they compete, it's important.
Nice. And so the concert that you guys are having, what's the big night?
So Thursday night,
Okay.
which is July 9th,
Right.
which is a Thursday, which is kind of difficult, but that's our kickoff.
Yeah.
So that's usually our biggest night, So doors are at 6 p.m. This year we have Joe Nichols and Chase Rice.
Oh,
so
wow.
Joe Nichols is opening for Chase. And we feel like best bang for the buck concert in the state.
Oh,
As far as like our concert admission is affordable. We feel like it matches the community, and really you're stage front. The earlier you show up, you can stand right next to the stage for the same price as anybody that funnels in later.
Have seats there also, or?
Yep. We do offer seats as well.
We do offer covered seating. Our grandstands are sections 1 through 12. So all of that is covered seating in the event that it does rain. It's only slightly higher, which is $5. So our general admission is, and then the reserve seating is only $5 more, so $55. If you purchase early.
$50
Right.
to get in.
Right.
And you can stand as close as we are to the actual band that's playing. You can belly up to go up for $50.
That's awesome.
And then we feel like our drink tickets are very affordable as well.
Yeah.
With $6 beers and $7 mixed drinks.
Nice.
I feel like that's an affordable price considering all the other big city prices that you may get.
Yeah, you
going
might
to
be
an
paying
event.
$16 for a beer, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the next night, Friday night, what's your big event on Friday night?
So Friday night is our 7:00 p.m. rodeo.
Okay.
So we're celebrating America 250
Yes.
for that rodeo,
Nice.
just 4th of July, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm just gonna chill and rock it all out. So it should be a good rodeo. We'll have a good lineup. Our entries open for our contestants on June 24th. So at that time, for our contestants, we are giving away a Salida gun shop
range tool,
for all of our rough stock contestants. So bareback, bull riding, and saddle bronc. That's what we'll be giving away.
How did you get into this? I'm curious.
That's a good question, yeah.
I just been in the community a long time, and then our 2 presidents ago, actually, this job came open, and that's just kind of where I ended up. It was started as a part-time, and then ended up filling out as a little something different. So.
Are you born and raised in Monte Vista?
Born and raised.
Okay. Yep. Ranching background, farming background?
We do. We have a ranching background. We run cattle in the mountains in Gunnison. We've run them in a bunch of different mountain permits. We own the livestock auction in Monte Vista. And so just a livestock knowledgeable background, I guess you would say.
Nice. And you, how did you come across this?
Well, the Stampede Committee, like I touched base on earlier, is based off of volunteers. So my father was on the committee for quite a few years before me, but you know how that kind of works, that if he's there, and so I spent quite a few years volunteering before one volunteer resigned and they offered me the position to fill his seat on the board. And so, same thing, Valley resident, but I'm a farmer.
Okay.
I'm more of a business manager. And so, important for our committee to have multiple different mindsets when you come to the table.
Absolutely.
You know, we have ranchers and that kind of mindset and animal care. And then we have, like I said, bankers, and we have different farmers and different kind of mindsets so that we're always thinking about everybody when we come to this board and make decisions for our rodeo and the event.
I mean, that sounds like there's a lot of places that don't operate that way, right?
Yeah,
They're
a lot
not
of
thinking of the community.
Yeah, a lot of
first.
people look at it as business first, right?
Yeah.
You know, we're here to make money and we're here to, you know, create X, Y, and Z. Whereas, like, we really feel as a community that, I mean, this is our summer. In the past, we've been a little bit later in July, and so it's kind of the final party December.
Okay.
You know, we feel like this is the kickoff to the end of the summer and into the harvest season. And so we really try to put something on that benefits the community. People can't go to Denver and get away for that long and do Elitch's or SeaWorld or Water World or, you know, Six Flags or even State Fair, you know.
Yeah.
So we're really trying to advocate for a local event that gives that same type of energy and experience for our community.
I think a lot of people don't really understand that you guys go from a ramp up to 24/7.
Yep.
There's no off days. There's no hey, sorry, I got the sniffles.
Yeah, no,
Right.
it's one of those things that we meet once a month, meetings for 12 months. We might take 1 month off in August right after our event kind of to decompress. But then come September, we're right back to planning and looking forward for the next year and how we can make that event better. And then like you're saying, when it comes to, you know, we're 30 days out, right? And 10 days before, it's sun up to sundown 7 days a week, and then a few days after to get it all tore down, you know, and sick, cold, happy, sad, it doesn't really matter. We're there to put on for the community.
Nice. What would you say the biggest thing or biggest piece of the Stampede Rodeo is to keep the tradition going? What's the one thing that you're like, this is a tradition and this is what we do?
I mean, 100% the rodeo.
Okay.
100% the rodeo. That is Stampede. That is what we bleed, is the rodeo. Those cowboys that come out to support them. And it's not just the fans, it's the cowboys that are coming out. They're earning a living as well on the road for their families. So that you take that into consideration, we bleed the rodeo. But at the same time, those two great components, which is the concert and the carnival.
Yeah.
And it just creates this whole event for all of us that if you're asking anybody about the Ski Hi Stampede, right?
Yeah.
That is the Valley event.
It is. Everybody talks about it. Everybody's excited about it, and it's the staple of the summer. You know, it's our big party. You got a concert, you got the carnival, you got 3 days of action-packed rodeo, and like Shelly said, I mean, the staple thing is the rodeo. We're very proud as the Ski Hi Stampede to be part of PRCA. You know, and we're getting a new arena groomer. We want to create the best rodeo grounds possible for these cowboys to make their living, as well as taking care of the stock so that they're safe, you know. And I feel like the other thing that really stands out for our local community is the carnival. We guarantee them 40 rides a year. People love to be there. And, you know, that kicks off on Wednesday evening. We do a food drive. If you bring some canned foods, you get a discount. And, you know, it's just something it's really great for the community and the rodeo contestants.
That we are very proud of, too, just to touch back to the rodeo. We do have a 7-time NFR Stock Contractor of the Year, is Stay Smith Pro Rodeos. And so they do a great job. They bring us great stock. And so they have a great following of cowboys that tag along, and it just helps out the event as a whole just to be Smith Pro Rodeos too.
Yeah, tagging on that, you know, Smith Pro Rodeo, 7-time Stock Contractor of the Year, and you have some very high name cowboys that try to pick their summer run around the stock contractor.
Now, just so everybody out there knows, what is a stock contractor?
So the stock contractor is the business, the person who provides all the rough stock, which would be the bareback, the saddle bronc, the bulls. So rough stock are horses, you know, saddle bronc horses, bareback horses, and then bulls, obviously, for the bull riding. One great thing that we had last year as a last-minute walk-up entry, right, which he is rodeo royalty, basically, within this industry. And he ended up winning the whole purse or first within that payout. And then the
range tool
provided, which will be provided by Selected Gun Shop this year. So that was a great thing for our event.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And they're always national finals qualifiers. So.
And it's kind of like having Von Miller fly in and he plays linebacker for you or DN.
Yeah.
I don't know what he plays, but it's like having a professional athlete show up to your small town rodeo and dominate it, wins all the event, makes the money, takes a picture with Selected Gun Shops,
range tool,
and then he gets back out of town and goes to his next performance, and then he shows up in Vegas and performs really well.
Now, do you guys have like a vendor area that going on?
We do on the inside. So we have a few vendors. We have a lot of great food vendors that offer food and amenities during the rodeo. But on the inside, underneath the grandstands in our great new facility, we do have a on the inside that provides some kind of Western attire usually. So it's a good spot for them during the rodeo and the concert.
So for like your all hat, no cattle people?
Exactly. There's a
Exactly.
spot.
All right.
There's a
Nice.
spot.
Yeah.
Yes,
Purses for the ladies and stuff like that.
exactly.
Nice.
Yeah, purses, hats, occasionally get some boots, you know, and like Shelly was touching base on, we have a lot of good food vendors, you know, from your funnel cakes, your corn dogs,
All of it.
your, you know, your smoked ribs, your catfish, there's, you know,
Really?
steak sandwiches, you name it, food out there.
Oh man.
You know, and trickling on that, as a committee, we really take a lot of pride in our cowboy hospitality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have an entire area in the back of the arena that is set up to feed the cowboys and their family. We know they're on the road, we know they're traveling a lot, and they're trying to make their livings. Vista, we offer them a shower, we offer them a goodie bag with, you know, toiletries, a towel, handful of things like that, and then a meal each night for the performance. If they're there to ride and, you know, do their job, we're there to take care of them so that their experience in Monte Vista is really nice.
That's actually really awesome. I bet that's pretty back.
Exactly. And trying to do the best for our cowboys. We did add $10,000 to the bull riding this year, and then another $7,000 in the horses, both the saddle bronc and the bareback horses. And then our base purse on everything else on the was $5,000. So that's a good payout for a lot of these contestants. They'll have a good payout.
Under
It'll be
8 seconds, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty good money if you can do it
Exactly.
under 8 seconds.
Exactly.
You wouldn't catch me out there, but yeah.
No?
Me either.
It's a good payout for the entries. There's quite a few entries, so that adds to the total payout along with our added money. So it's a great purse for these cowboys.
Now, is this all funded by donations, or how do you guys raise the funds?
This is a great question for Shelly because she's actually our secretary. She is the ramrod of all of our, you know, commission that we make in the valley. It's
Sponsorship.
yeah, a lot of sponsors.
We have a lot of great businesses in the valley that really want to see this event succeed.
Yeah.
And they really appreciate these cowboys and cowgirls that come out and compete. And so they're adding this money to be part of, not only there's some advertising incentives for their businesses, but also just supporting this rodeo as a whole and adding that money to get these cowboys and cowgirls down the road. It's a great, it's something for both, you know. It's great for their business, but at the same time, they know what they're doing to support the community and support the cowboys and cowgirls.
Who are some of your big sponsors that you have down there?
We have a great concert sponsor, so Plant Nutrient Solutions, and some they help out immensely with all of this, with our concert production, everything from the ground up. We have a great specialty ag sponsor, San Luis Valley Federal. That's a bank in Monte Vista, and they are supportive in whatever way they can. So there's a bunch of different event sponsors as well that I could name all of them. But we just have a bunch of different businesses in the valley that
And
help out
another
with
local
this.
one that helps us out with a lot too is the Monte Vista Co-op and
right.
Kubota.
Okay.
You know, they're a large sponsor for us. They donate a tractor each, and
How do you win the tractor?
well, they don't donate it to win the tractor, but it's more so for us to adequately take care of the ground for the contestants, you know. So they donate a tractor. They're actually our after party sponsor this year. So it's the Monte Vista Co-op after party and Kubota. And
They help bring in that Justin Kemp band, and it's just a whole scene for them to create afterwards and just help put on this event for the community.
And by no means is a large sponsor any better than a small sponsor. We have
There's so
a
many.
handful of sponsors that are small sponsors, but there's so many different, you know, a concert sponsor or the after party sponsor to banner sponsors. It takes every single one of them to make this event successful. And I think everybody's proud to be part of a 104-year event.
Absolutely.
Celebration, yeah.
Now, let's say there's somebody who maybe know that they could sponsor. What's the best way to get in contact with you for sponsorship?
So on the website, for sponsorship to stay in the know. All they have to do is shoot me a message. Facebook, our page, Ski Hi Stampede Inc.
How do you spell
Instantly.
Sky High Stampede?
Which is a little weird. We're a
Yeah.
little. It's Skihi Stampede.
They've been tagging on to that since 1919.
1919.
Yeah.
That's it.
They knew before.
Maybe we weren't educated. Maybe they knew about the
We don't
future
know.
before we did. I don't know. But we do love that.
Thing I would like to touch on is that this year, instead of, we used to be a Tough Enough to Wear Pink rodeo, which is breast cancer awareness.
Okay.
So we fulfilled our donation to the Stephanie L. Minor Imaging Center at SLV Region of $100,000. So this year we decided to direct our attention to a new charity called the Golden Circle of Champions,
Okay.
which is fighting pediatric cancer awareness.
Yeah.
So it's a very hard subject to talk about. But I think it deserves our attention. And it is about raising awareness and funds for the families that are going through this awful time with their children, to be able to help provide and during a time they shouldn't have to think about,
Yeah.
you know.
And so the Golden Circle of Champions, like Shelly was saying, you know, we're creating financial help for these families going through the pediatric cancer battle and these children. But something that's really important is that we offer an experience for those children as well. And they're local children to the Valley. So
Really?
we go out as a committee and try to find these children in the community
Mhm.
and bring them in. And so we get them a buckle.
Oh.
And we try to suit them up, you know, with
Nice.
boots, pants, shirt, hat. And then we take them around for a day and we show them the bucking chutes and we show them the livestock and we show them the event and really try to create this whole inclusive experience. And it's something that PRCA is also very, you know, adequate or adamant about, you know, being part of. And it's important to include the youth, you know, take care of these kids because
If somebody was out there and let's say maybe they're not going to be able to make it out to Colorado, maybe they're somewhere out there in internet world and they want to give to
Golden Circle.
Golden Circle of Champions, how would they do that?
So there's a QR code on our website. All you have to do is scan it. They choose our rodeo
Uh-huh.
and then choose their funding amount.
Okay.
And so that's a great thing about this foundation is it's 100% back to the families, back to the awareness
I like that.
and things like that. So we will be able to award these families, you know, with some money and things like for gas and groceries and just the things that we take for granted.
Yeah.
It will provide for them to be able, this is such a stress for them to get through.
Yep.
And so they will maybe alleviate some stress.
Yep. And
that
if they
area.
don't necessarily go through Ski Hi Stampede, they can still go to
The
the Golden
foundation.
Circle of Champions and then choose, you know, whatever region they're in. The main point is that the money, if they're willing to name to the Golden Circle of Champions.
My previous profession was being a paramedic, but the first thing I think of is if somebody's receiving care in the Valley, they're probably making a lot of trips to Denver.
Yes.
Denver.
Yep.
So,
Remote care
remote.
is difficult.
Yeah. So the big thing is this is how they are right now. I would say that would probably be a huge thing, a
Yeah.
huge alleviate.
Yeah.
It is, and it goes back to the families directly to where they can apply it wherever they need.
Mm-hmm.
And we just took on a little gal. She's 10 years old. She's at Children's Hospital right now in Denver. Because of the severity of her leukemia, she's not able to come home at all. So she is one of our golden rodeo kids, but she will not make it for the rodeo. And so she will be in Children's for the rest and probably taking oral chemo the next year. And that is just something I mean, no parent should have to go through.
No.
So it's a charity near and dear to my heart and all of our hearts. And we all have kids,
Yeah.
and you help the next person.
Yeah. So if you can help, please.
And whatever region you're in. I
Yeah.
mean, we're very thankful and helpful and hoping to help a San Luis Valley or Salida resident if we can, you know.
Yeah.
But if you're not in these regions and you are following the Salida Gun Shop, Rodeo, or go to the Golden Circle of Champions and find somewhere, because at the end of the day, it's about helping the kids and the families.
And some great things that we added, we'll have some more apparel at the event, but we did purchase Golden Circle wild rags. So for sale also to the community. And so you will receive a commemorative Ski Hi Stampede and Golden Circle Rodeo wild rag, which is a scarf, a Western scarf that we can ship as well. So just message us for all of that.
Anybody will understand, because at the NFR last year, they had the Golden Circle of
Yes.
Champion Night, and a lot of cowboys had yellow hats and yellowed wild rags and any sort of yellow to show their support towards the, you know, it's for the kids. It's important.
I'm really keying into your guys' logo here. Like, cool. Did you put this together?
Well, yes and no. So I have a great company out of Fort Worth, No Ego Studio. Nico, he's great. He listens to all my whines and complains every year, starting back in November, in the rodeo in August, and then I start in again. And so he's ready for my lists. And this is what he put together this year, and I think it's great. And so we tagged on to this with all of our apparel. As you can see, we have a sale at the event. That's his bronc on the poster, naming our event and all of that stuff. So he does a great job, and we love everything he puts together every year.
Man, that's actually really cool.
He does a good job.
It does a good job, and it represents what the state, 104 years of legacy, right? Like back in the day, that's how it started, right? People trying to break horses and move them west, and now they've turned it into an entire event. It's rodeo, and that kind of signifies to us, you know, the legacy of 104 years that we are the old in Colorado.
It's crazy to think that your guys' rodeo is as old as there was still Indians at the time. Like,
This is
not
like
that
a
there's
territory.
not Indians. There's still like, yeah, we're
almost-
talking about
We're
old,
Colorado 150 this year.
crazy to think that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
How old this rodeo is. No.
Well, and I mean, tagging on that, you know, it's an extremely old rodeo, and anything that lasts a long time goes through hard times. And so actually in the 60s, if I'm correct,
Yeah,
right, it was in the 60s.
60s.
Committee, obviously about 30 years into our establishment, was near going bankrupt. And a lot of these volunteer committee members went out and took personal notes against their own name to save the Ski Hi Stampede.
Holy cow.
And one of those, Barley Bird, and he is actually a 50-plus year volunteer on the committee still to this
This will
day.
be his 51st year.
51st year.
This will be his 51st
so
year.
Charlie's our hero, and you know
He knows everything, rodeo up, down.
Yeah.
Contestant. His dad was a contestant in I think it was in the 30s.
Not sure.
In the 30s, his dad was, and
But
rode broncs and everything
It's just
else.
a legacy, you know.
Yeah.
And so
There's
Charlie
some roots.
eats, dies for the Stampede. And it's great because he brings this perspective from so many years, and he's seen the growth that we've made, you know. And like I said, he took a personal note against his name to save the Stampede in the 60s, you know. And it means a lot to the committee now that, you know, they took themselves.
I feel like that's something that maybe like people out there that are listening to this don't really understand, is that there's a lot of generations in the valley.
Mhm.
Generations of people,
Yep.
farming, ranching,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
And it hasn't been easy.
Oh
And
no.
especially as we move forward in Colorado's history, we're starting to see some interesting times here.
Yeah. It's very technically I'm a fifth generation farmer, and so the change of times from, the 30s when people the San Luis Valley and establishing and the amount of water we had and how farming was. I mean, it was horse drawn. They were pulling plows with horses. They were planting with horses. It was, they were sowing potato sacks, 100-pound sacks of potatoes by hand, bucking pull type trailers with a horse into a dirt cellar and then marketing them back out. And so the change of times, like you're saying, like there's so much history and depth to the generational struggle and success of the valley, that something also shows that. It goes hand in hand with ranching and farming that, it started in the 30s, it started in the early 1900s, and blood, sweat, and tears to save your family name, to save the Ski Hi Stampede, and these people taking out personal notes as a volunteer to save a local event,
That
it's
just goes
huge.
to show that it's a community event. It's all of us that have been there for generations and have been a part of this. It just creates this whole feeling of the Ski Hi Stampede.
Yep. Parade. There's a parade as well on Friday and Saturday.
Gosh, yeah.
at
And
10
this year
a.m.
they're adding for first, second, and third. First place $1,500, second place $1,000, third place $500 for your best float.
Really?
So come enter your floats.
That's really cool.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of pride in the Ski Hi Stampede and a lot of generational people that serve. We've got Charlie's grandson on the board, and as Charlie's still on the board, his grandson's working his way in, and there's following in my father's times, and there's people that there's pride in being part of the Ski Hi Stampede and putting on something that is the staple of the San Luis Valley.
Heck yeah. Awesome. That's cool.
That's great.
I don't know if we should get into this, but you're famous in the Ski Hi Stampede.
Oh, no.
Where do people recognize you from?
So a couple years ago, I ended up on a reality TV show, which was called Farmer Wants a Wife. Yeah, that was in fall of, I guess, 2023. It was filmed, came out in 20. And I guess I've been on the Stampede committee 5 or 6 years before that. But if I am recognized, that's where I
It's Farmer Brandon.
Farmer Brandon.
Farmer Brandon. All right.
And we love him.
Now, did that variety to the Ski Hi Stampede?
That's funny you ask.
Lots of letters.
If it
Lots of letters?
We're not going to talk about the letter, Shelly. So, yes, there was a little bit. The first year, I feel like the first year after Farmer Wants a Wife, I ended up taking about after the concert, which small town hero in a sense, I guess. Not saying I'm a hero, but it's just one of those things that not a lot of people came from a small town and ended up on national TV, right?
Yeah.
And so it's cool to be that for the Valley. I'm proud of what I do, and I'm very adamant to promote Center and Monte Vista. And, a lot of people didn't know that potatoes were grown in the Valley or in Colorado,
I can honestly say, didn't know that.
Yeah.
And met a farmer from down there. He showed me his cellar.
Oh, yeah.
That is something that is like next level.
Yeah, I don't think that anybody, right? You go into the grocery store
They don't
and you see a table this size with a pile of potatoes, and you're like,
No.
But then you walk into a potato cellar and there's 100,000 pounds of potatoes just in this giant wall.
And what was crazy to me is that there's some part of it above ground, but there's also sunken a little bit.
Yeah.
So you walk in the door, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's like 20 feet high. And then he was like, oh, it's like 80, 100 yards long.
Yeah.
You go in there and you're like, holy cow, this is the most potatoes I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm Farmer Wants a Wife, right? Like the same person experienced. Now we're bringing Los Angeles, California, Nashville, Tennessee. Like you've got production people and film crews and sound specialists, and all these people converge on the farm. And they walk into that cellar and they're just like, whoa, I never saw potatoes in their life.
In the valley is, from a potato farming standpoint, is one of the epicenters, right? Like, so you have the San Luis Valley and you have Idaho.
Yep. We hate to say it that way, but unfortunately, the truth is the truth. Idaho is the largest growing region, but the San Luis Valley in Colorado is the second largest fresh market producing area in the nation. And we produce somewhere between 20 million pounds annually.
Wow. And what kind of potatoes do you guys grow down there?
Most are a Norcota russet, but you do get some specialty reds, you get some yellows, you get some fingerlings. There is a handful of organic growers as well. So you get a pretty good variety.
I can definitely say this. Best potatoes I've ever had. By far. Not even a question.
Well, and at the end of the day, nothing beats a fresh potato, right? You know, by the time we dig it out of the field, it goes across the digger, across all the belts and into the storage. And then it sits for a few weeks, right? Best case scenario, they buy them right out within the first few weeks. Across the belt into a packing shed or into a shipping trailer into another packing shed. And then it goes through all these different machines and gets weighed and placed by size and weight and everything. And then it goes to your grocery store. And then it goes from the grocery store to where you'd see it. So you're talking 14 days, 7 to 14 days, depending on, which process you go through.
Yeah.
But you think about when we're storing these potatoes at, 38 to 42 degrees, by the time it goes through all that stuff, it gets a little softer. It gets a lot more light. It changes quite a bit by the time the purchaser gets a hold of that potato to go home and cook. So when you say best potato, you're getting a fresh potato out of the dirt, and there's nothing quite like it.
The biggest struggle right now in the potato farm and the ranching right now, what's the biggest one? I know we all hear it on the news, the water. Is that the biggest thing?
Go ahead with ranching
Water.
first. Yeah. Inevitably.
Water is the word you hear all the time, is the drought and the grass, and people, they get a little scared, waiting for it to rain, bring up a little grass, keep their cattle kicked out, all of that. They don't want to bring them to in the middle of the summer. They want to wait until the fall and those prices and fall markets hit. And so water, I would say, probably for you too, right?
Yeah, water's always a concern. Overproduction's a concern. Last year, annually, America consumes somewhere around 75 to 80 million pounds of potatoes in the nation, right? A little bit of Canada, a little bit of Mexico. Okay. Right now, because so many other crop productions, production was down or was up, and so everybody funneled out of corn and beans and went into potatoes. And so actually, instead of hitting that 75 to 80 million sacks or pounds, we produce 95 million pounds annually. So that's a struggle. Cost of production is a struggle. up, fuel's up,
Mm-hmm.
tractors are expensive, equipment's expensive,
Yep.
you know, and you still go to the store and they're expensive. You
It's,
know, they're not adjusting the price in the store
mm-hmm.
to match what it costs to produce. You know, they still have their.
Do you guys have, and I don't know, is there a direct to farm to table method, or is that frowned upon, or?
I wouldn't say it's frowned upon, and in the ranching industry, I feel like it's easier accessible, right? Like, you know, there's a lot of Facebook are like, hey, I've got 20 cows I'm gonna butcher. Do you want hamburger steaks? And you can make that connection, but like when you're looking at 100,000-pound wall of potatoes,
Yeah.
and you're like, hey, I need 10.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
need 10
hard to
potatoes.
make all those moves, but you
Right.
know,
You're not setting up a.
yeah, it's hard, you know, but I think you've got Skanga Meats.
Yeah.
You know, Skanga Meats also, I think they probably have fresh market stuff. Simple Foods in Del Norte kind of offered something like that.
Nice.
What's the store in Alamosa? Valley Meats.
Oh, Valley Meat, yeah, and they're a sponsor for us. They also provide meat that a local restaurant in Monte Vista, Sunflower Bakery, they usually smoke the meat and do all the things preparation-wise for the rodeo. So yeah, farm to table sometimes isn't as few. Sometimes ranching communities is a little bit smaller in that aspect. They can go ahead and buy 1 or 2 steers at market and their fat steers, and go butcher and put them in their freezer. But yeah, that's not always the same case for.
But you can always go find a farmer.
Farmer.
You know, find a
Farmer
farmer.
Brandon.
Farmer Brandon.
You find me on the internet. If you want potatoes, I'll make you a deal. You come find
What's
me.
your hashtag? Your app.
At Farmer Brandon, I think, or Brandon Rogers 93.
Right.
I'm not too social media savvy, trying to navvy that way. But you know, if you want to go buy from a farmer, go to the big shed.
Yeah.
You know, and go hit them up. Most of the times, if you go to these packing warehouses or you go to the farmers and you want a 50-pound bag, I know every fall that we have a lady from Salida that comes over to K&K Farm. And you know, she buys about 200 pounds.
Whoa.
And she comes over, and I don't know if she has a root cellar or where she stores them, but she comes over and we fill, 200 pounds worth of bags, and she takes them and she pays us. It's great.
Wow.
You know, so if you want to buy local, just a little effort and you can, or you go to the packing sheds. If you look up packing sheds in the San Luis Valley and you go to their door, most of the time you can go in and buy, 50-pound box, 100-pound bag, whatever you want to do.
Where are your potatoes going to mostly?
Ooh, it all just kind of depends. Go everywhere. A few places in Denver. It's really surprising that San Luis Valley doesn't just supply all of Colorado, right?
Yeah.
Like you would think that we'd just be like, Colorado potatoes in Colorado.
Yeah.
But I feel like in my packing shed where I do my stuff through Monte Vista Potato Growers, most of Florida, Alabama, Mexico, and kind of southeast, but Aldi's, Kroger, Sam's Club, Costco, Walmart's a big buyer.
Are they stamped with Alamosa?
You can look on the bag. Kind of depends on the bag. Another big producer in the area is Farm Fresh, and we go through RPE, Monte Vista Potato Growers RPE. But as long as you flip the bag over, you'll be able to see on the back where they're packaged. Nice. We go to Arizona a lot as well. As a committee, we've really tried to fund our grounds and our arena better for the contestants. And so we've put in new bucking chutes for the rough stock. Planning on going into 2027, putting in new roping chute, calf chute, and roping boxes.
Those are to a standard, right? Like
PRCA has standard and specs that it's actually supposed to match according to their diagram and their specifications to make sure that it meets their expectations. So grade, shape, depth, width, everything goes in hand there. And then, the Ski Hi Stampede and has invested in is a new arena grounds worker. That it's a piece of equipment that basically adds water to the ground as we're working it, so that it prepares the soil to be the most adequate for animal safety as well as contestant success and safety. Safety is very important.
Oh. That was something that was interesting. We were talking to the guys from Monte Vista Rodeo, and they were kind of talking about that, how a lot of it's all designed and all that stuff is around the safety for the animals, the safety for the contestants.
Yeah, it's always very important that the animals are protected and put in a position to succeed, because like Shelly touched base earlier, they are the ultimate competitor as well. Like they're bred to buck. They are bred to do what they do. A cutting horse does cutting things, you know, horse does breakaway things. A tie down horse, when you watch those horses as a, you know, fan, watch each horse. They do what they're supposed to do for their event, you know. So as a committee, we always want to prep the ground and the facility to make sure that those animals can do their absolute, as well as be absolutely as safe as possible.
One thing that we do offer through the Ski Hi Stampede and the ASU Foundation, a great thing that Adams State University has provided for us are 3 $3,500 scholarships of fall or spring semester students. It is not limited to traditional students. It may be, any non-traditional, anyone planning to attend Adams State that is involved in this industry in some way, and you can check out our application online, skihistampede.com. All the requirements are listed there, but that is a great scholarship that they're offering, and they're a great partner to us.
If anybody from Salida or Buena Vista area or any of your followers are, you know, interested in going to Adams State, it's almost 3 classes, maybe 4, depending on what you're going into. It covers a semester.
For sure.
Yeah. That's actually a huge thing.
That's a great foundation, and they do a great job being our partner. So
nice.
Yeah. Well, we sure appreciate you guys having us, and you know, we would love the community of Salida. You know, the Valley loves to come to FIBARC, right?
Yeah.
We love to come to the Salida events and anything that they put on. It's an hour away, and so we hope that this podcast brings like-minded people to the San Luis Valley, and you know, come to the Ski Hi Stampede. We'd love to have you guys.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks
for having us.
We definitely appreciate you guys for being our sponsor.
Yeah.
For the rough stock pistols.
Yeah.
That's great. That helps our cowboys. They love them.
Yeah.
Even Statler last year, he was like, I have never won a pistol at any rodeo. That was his first.
Nice.
A great deal that you guys put on here.
Bringing everybody into the fold.
Awesome.
Yes, we appreciate it greatly.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks everyone for watching. As always, we do appreciate you. We appreciate your business. We appreciate your views. Remember, as always, like, share, subscribe. Make sure you get down to Stampede Rodeo. And also remember, go to the Golden Circle of Champions.